coming to you live from the land of chlamydia-ridden koalas. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
To the first episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast of 2019. That's right, we're going to come at this year with a heap of professionalism. We're going to get stuck in, we're going to do some hard-hitting journalism, and we're going to be very, very serious about it. Starting off with some investigative journalism that I did last night, in fact, about Sloth using blade barrage to destroy a toilet. Can you fill us in there, Sloth, on what actually happened and what led up to the events?
Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, welcome back. Thank you for crossing over to the live camera here. There, Log. We got the story here at the moment. Last night I had pork tacos for dinner. They were really spicy, and then I decided to drink black rum. And my stomach was pretty rough, and I had to blade barrage the toilet.
So wait, let me get this straight. We're starting 2019.
Yeah, man.
like every other year, I guess.
Yeah.
With a poo joke.
I really want to bring it in with like...
No. This is the thing. This is the thing. I told this story last night to Log, Nick, Etz, Mactavius, and Ascension.
I was streaming. It's part of the public record now. On his stream. And I was thinking, this will be fine.
And then I find out 30 seconds before we're going live, and he's playing Rings on Fire. And playing fucking Johnny Cash, My Ring's on Fire.
In my defense, I was put up to it. It was Nick and Etz last
night. Bloody Nick and Etz. You got to promise that you fucking reference this. So 2019 is starting off about a story about my anus.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So it's new year, but the same old shit, quite literally.
Quite literally.
But if you're interested in catching something genuinely funny, but go and listen to the speed at which Sloth says goodbye to everyone in my stream, because it was like, I'm gonna go. See us. I'm like, he's definitely about to burst. He's dropping off some motes of dark right now. Anyway, how have you been, Matt? How's your digestive health?
Perfect, mate. I've had such a great 2 weeks off. I mean, me and Sloth have played a lot of video games together, and I've just done sweet nothing for since Christmas. So playing a bit of Destiny, playing a bit of other games, and it's been nice. I'm not looking forward to going back and doing stuff next week.
So reference here is that Matt is like, I really need to get back into making content and all that sort of thing. I wake up at 2 p.m. and all that sort of thing. I send him a message. Hey man, do you want to play video games? He goes, I was about to write a script. Oh yeah, okay.
My thought pattern over the last 2 weeks is, oh, it's Christmas tomorrow. Oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's the day after Christmas. Oh, it's 2 days after Christmas. Oh, it's New Year's. Whatever.
Oh, it's nearly New Year's.
Yeah. Oh, it's only the day after. I'm just, every day has been an excuse not to work and just play the video game. So I actually got to the point yesterday. It's a weird feeling when you've got other responsibilities, but when you get to the point where you've actually played too many games, you're like, I don't feel like playing video games anymore. I actually got to that point yesterday. So I think I'm ready to
actually be a productive member of society once again.
Yeah. I'm ready. My body's ready. My mind's ready.
Then I also got to witness firsthand toxicity.
Oh yeah,
the highest
what did I do again?
By this man, right there.
He's to your left, and the other way.
Yeah, the fucking bearded Obi-Wan Kenobi knockoff over here. We were playing Insurgency Sandstorm, which is a PvP type of game with cross between like Arma 3 and Rainbow Six Siege and all that sort of thing. And this dude, like I was playing a commander, Matt was playing as my observer. And I was like, okay, cool. Call in some artillery strikes just here. And this dude got onto the voice comms and was like, what the fuck are you doing, commander? And I said on voice, be careful of red smoke, guys. We've got artillery coming in there. And Matt's like, hey, Husey, and there's red smoke. Maybe you should get the fuck out of the way, Husey. Hey, Husey. Like, just being just so fucking toxic.
So this is what happens. You take a pillar of the Destiny community and put him where someone knows him, and he just all of a sudden becomes a fucking insufferable shit. It's fine, mate. Go and cause trouble somewhere else. You'll get away with it. It's completely fine. You're playing your games that you just don't include me in, and it makes me sad. You know what I've been doing?
Don't even fucking start.
You know what I've been doing?
Start. I said to Locke, you know, Matt and I are going to be playing Insurgency Sandstorm. Do you want to come play? Keg picked it up. Keg hasn't played with us yet, but Keg picked it up, and Locke's like, no, the game doesn't interest me. We fucking offered to bring you in. And you wanted to say no.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just mucking up. I'm just carrying on because I've just played a shitload of Destiny. I've literally played Destiny every single day that I've been off, except for Christmas when I was in Sydney with family. So I'm one towel, butt rag, Titan mark off being 650, and I've been at that point for a week, and I'm getting a bit angry about it. But I did finally get a good roll. Blast furnace out of the forge. So,
did you
I'm
get
happy.
that in the end?
Yes, and
What did it have?
It's got the Mayrin scope, the appended thing. It's basically outlaw and rampage, and I put a rampage spec in it.
That's not a god roll.
Yes, it is.
The fucking reload speed on that weapon is stupid high. You don't need outlaw, and rampage is a PvE.
Have you reloaded one, Sloth?
Yes.
Have you Have you even unlocked the Izanami forge?
I have actually. I did it on screen. Go fuck yourself.
When? Last night. Is his camera frozen or I can't tell?
No, I don't know what's going on. It's being a fucking pain.
It's fine. I thought you were just doing your classic sloth stare thing.
No.
So on to another important note that we've kind of picked up on over the Christmas break, and I put a tweet out about it yesterday. Matt, how much did you have to pay to get your name in the game, Mayrin?
Mayrin, the Mayrin shader or whatever it's.
Mayrin. I don't know, who is that person anyway? Can you do a lore? Would that be entirely self-serving to do a lore episode on who Mayrin is by Mayrin Games?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
Probably.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, there we go.
Well, outside of Log going to Sydney and getting himself absolutely rat-hard drunk and Matt playing video games and being toxic, I did fuck all this Christmas. I legitimately stayed at home, watched the cricket, and drank copious amounts of alcohol, and my stomach is my gastrointestinal system is now paying for it, as we said at the top of the cast. So fantastic. Yeah, guys.
I think, if you know what, the one thing that we have all done since we spoke to everyone was go and do Scourge of the Past with Ninja. The other week, we all jumped in and blasted through the raid and had a good time doing it and a lot of laughs. So, what did you boys think? I mean, I've only done it the one time, and I'm going to have fond memories of it because of that. But what did you guys think of it as a piece of content and as I kind of get the Crota's End vibe out of it? You know, that short and sweet, striky
it's short,
raid.
It's not like I feel like there's I'm definitely in that category of players now where I'd probably prefer something that I know that we can get into and get done, relatively quickly. The gear was quite cool from it. The end boss was really cool as well. I think so. You see some of those concepts in the original art of the enemies as well. So it's sort of cool that some of those aspects are coming back. My only complaint about the raid is very similar to other raids that came with expansions or DLCs, is that it wasn't really tied to the story very well. And I always feel like there's a big gap between like what was actually happening in the raid, and the way that they released it made it quite difficult because the Gofanon Forge like basically set up the raid and introduced it, and the Gofanon Forge and the raid released at the same time or the same day. So it's like people technically ended up doing the raid before knowing why they were doing it.
Yeah.
So
even if
like
they paid attention, like I think that's the part of it that, like, I obviously watched your video on it, and I didn't understand any of that shit going into the raid. I had no context whatsoever, and I'd ground that forge into the ground by that point already.
Yeah,
so.
and I didn't know either. Like I had to go back, and I even like messaged you guys. I was like, "Did we beat Civics?" I was like, "Did we beat the dude?" And just like, "No, we just fought the servitor." I was like, "Yeah, but he wasn't in the Mech Warrior suit. He wasn't like there or so." And they're like, "No, it's not." So
I'm so glad that you referenced that as a Mech Warrior suit.
what
I'm
else
so
do you
glad.
call it? It's a Mech Warrior.
It's quite legitimately. I mean, it could be those big fuck off mechs that from Warhammer 40k that the
Dreadnought,
the Imperial Dreadnoughts, but I mean, Mech Warrior suits a little bit better. I like it. Thank you.
I mean, for me, I think that's surprising because they've done so well at linking everything together. And I think because this was outsourced, right? This is VV again, wasn't it? Was this VV?
Yeah, this was VV again.
So I just think that's the missing piece now. When they start outsourcing stuff, it seems like there's this big gap between like how that content sits within a story module,
a particular body of how it fits in as a component of a greater story in one.
Absolutely.
I think
like there wasn't much there, and like this is the thing when you get to like when I made that big review on like everything you need to know before Destiny 2, and I went and summarized each expansion. This is the kind of stuff that's like really hard to go back and look at because like there's nothing in the lore tabs, and so essentially if you don't take the time to like transcribe that stuff and like especially when it's all in game, you add another year on, and you're like, what happened in what was the raid in Black Armory? Like
what was that about? Yeah.
Who did we kill again? Do you know?
It's very muchly in that boat, in that sort of situation, isn't it? It's like because I was in the same boat as you. I was like, yeah, Civics Prime, few names, Spider name droppers, your brother, and all that sort of thing. And then there was a whole bunch of enemies and the big fuck off dudes that had the big fuck off gun. That killed you in one shot. The dudes that like suppressed you and all that sort of thing. Like it's, I had no idea when I did it first with Jay and then did it with Ninja. I still have no idea about the raid. So I mean, I'll probably go and watch Beard's coverage of the lore behind it, so I can actually get a good idea about it. Because we
should actually get Beard on the cast and ask him about the lore, right?
We should, yeah, we really should.
It's been a while. Actually, like
it's been a while since I've had backup. It's been a while since I've had some lore backup.
If it's backup you're looking for, we're going to get Anon. We're going to have to go to Anon because Anon will not back you up.
All right. Well,
just as much of a shit stir as the rest of us.
Let's do a lore extravaganza, Matt. You'll be taking a holiday that day, and we'll have we'll have Anon, and we'll have
we'll
reach out to Bife, and we'll have a chat about the lore of the game. So. We'll go from there.
Horrible.
But apart from that, I mean, I enjoyed the raid. Like,
that was good fun.
It was really cool having Sparrows always available. Like that added an element which, I didn't expect to enjoy that much, but it was like it had, I do miss that goofy interaction between things. Like a lot of raids have that like that funny bit that sort of de-stresses everyone in between encounters, and for this raid, it was the Sparrow race. It was complete. That ludicrous. But it was so fun.
That was fantastic. I like most of the raids of Destiny have been very very serious, but there was something lighthearted about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it was huge. Like for a short raid, for a shortish raid, more equivalent to a lair rather than a last wish. It is huge. Right. The maps themselves are massive in the city when you're passing the balls around and all that sort of thing. It's fucking huge. Like that final area, unless you're a warlock that can skate faster than the speed of fucking light.
It's
it's a fan. It's huge, and I really actually did enjoy that. And it's because it takes less time than Last Wish. I could probably see that being a lot, being in my rotation of raids.
And the armor, I prefer the armor in Black Armory raid as well. Like that armor was really cool.
It's cool, except for the Titan legs. I'm not sure what's going on there, but they look really skinny, man.
Oh really? I haven't seen them.
Yeah, leg day was not adhered to. It was left off the run sheet. But
is the Titan armor quite sleek? Because I get the Warlock stuff that I've seen is very sort of minimal. Is it Titan armor?
It's very minimal. It's very.
Arms are still pretty big.
It like legs like mine. If I didn't have to walk around,
didn't have one missing.
Yeah, if I didn't have one missing, like they're chicken legs. They missed out on squats. Like other guardians don't let guardians miss leg day. Unless you're a hunter, then you can fuck off.
But this is the thing, like, what would be, let's be honest, if you were an actual guardian and you're immortal and you were brought back to life, like you would ever do any exercise. Like, what would be the motivation to ever walk out? Everyone would be so fat.
Oh, I've got a bit fat. Boof.
Yeah, that's the semi-serious question I was going to ask. Like, the ghost brings them back to the peak physical condition. The peak physical condition.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the question that I'm asking. Do they bring them back to the peak physical condition so they can continue to fight and get loot and all that sort of thing?
I've never seen a fat guardian, so it must be the case.
There was this lore tab in the Ghost Stories book, and it talks about it. I'm pretty sure it talks about what version they bring back of a guardian. I can't remember exactly what it says, but there is something about that. It's actually really cool. That's all I've got. I can't remember anything else.
There you go. You got yourself a bit of homework, Matt.
I'm in Christmas brain. I gotta start reading again.
I can't think because of all the ham in my mind. Just such ham. I mean,
look at it this way. I know it's probably just a design thing, but have you seen, outside of Spider and Callus, have you seen any fat people in Destiny? Like, I'm not talking about like the raid layer armor for the Titan that looks like he's, carrying a few extra Christmas pounds. But I'm talking about, like, have you ever seen a fat character in Destiny?
No.
Whether it's
I guess it's sort of like apocalyptic, so and I guess that's why the Spider is fat, because that's the Jabba the Hutt kind of, that's Jabba the Hutt kind of looked, like when there's corruption.
I need you water, nipple pinchy.
Just in case you're wondering, no, we didn't do up a run sheet because there is actually nothing going on in terms of Destiny news at the moment. So we just thought we'd come in and just shoot the shit for an hour and a half. So if it seems a bit directionless, it's because it is. But I mean, I enjoyed the raid for what it was worth. I thought getting into the city and fighting a little bit closer to home and sort of it gives you a bit of an insight too if you take your time to have a look around, which, we didn't really. I had a bit of a look around, but, like you're like, okay, well, this is the part of the city. I mean, you rarely ever get the opportunity to go down there except for the Solstice of Heroes event and sort of some of the other stuff in the Red War campaign. It was really, really small sections of it. This is like a different part of it. And it sort of opens up at the end into that kind of like desert-ish kind of vibe that I really wasn't expecting, given that it's a part of a city that's in like what seems to be the Alps or something. Like, did anyone else figure that out?
No, it's in Brazil. It's in Russia. It's in Brazil. It's in London. It's in fucking. We don't know where it is. Just shut up.
It's in the northern hemisphere.
I mean, I think what
it's in Australia.
They've always done well is the reveal of the final boss in raids is always amazing. The entry to the raid, and this time, we've got this mech warrior that shoots out of the ground and like starts flying through the air, and we've had Oryx, which is the way that he enters, King's Fall, and there's Atheon. Like they always do a really good job at when you get to that final boss. Riven, like when you get to that final boss, it's always epic, right? And I think they've done the same thing.
Riven, I would have rather Riven make an appearance at the very top of the tower, and then you go down around the tower and see her in her full glory, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But the most epic raid, the most epic raid encounter entrance, like the kind of entrance that makes your skin tingle, like you do when Stone Cold Steve Austin enters the ring in fucking Raw circa 1999. Was Oryx.
Yeah. Oryx
like when Oryx like climbs up from the a lower part of the dreadnought, and he's there, and you just like, oh fuck, like it's a definite oh fuck moment.
I don't know. I mean, the gigantic fucking space dragon also made me say, oh, fuck, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, shit. This is a big dragon. This is a big dragon. Mm-hmm. The other thing that wrapped up while we've been away is the Dawning. Does anyone miss it? Does that the one thing that has been raised and we're not going to get pointed about it is the fact
finished?
that it's...
I didn't even know. Is it finished now?
Yeah,
it is
done.
Finished.
Did you have lots of mats?
I was just a little bit off that very last...
did you miss out?
Bounty.
Did you miss out on the enhancement cores that allow you to beat the game quicker and all that sort of thing?
No. Updating the Sparrow, you know
you get unlocking the festive Sparrow.
120 bloody, you know,
the
120 cookies I missed out.
The Dawning was fun. It was legitimately fun. I actually liked being fucking real-time sloth master baker.
That does touch on Rick's video this week. Man at Arms is back, so you're just going to have to hold our fire on that. We'll try and get to the middle of the cast before we unleash that. But look, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of who said what and all that sort of shit, but do we really think that there needs to be a change in the enhancement cores economy? Like, is that a thing that
if you want enhancement cores, go out and fucking play the game. Don't play it for 4 hours and write another trumped up fucking article forms.
I personally, I've been on the wrong side of that ledger for a while now, where I have to actually put effort into, like, normally I'm a pretty hand to mouth with them, but I still don't think that they need to go away. And the whole argument that, I don't want to look like this while I play the game for a bit because I want to be able to infuse the armor that I like straight away is kind of not what it's about for me. Like, I think it's good because it forces you, especially with weapons, maybe not so much armor, it's kind of a bit of an inconvenience when things take longer to, your abilities take longer to proc back because you're not really well synergized or whatever. But weapons, like, this gun's a higher light level, I'll use it. And then you play with a different gun for a bit. I don't use bows ever, really, but I sure as shit did as I was leveling up. So I think that there is an argument there that it shouldn't just be that you can instantly upgrade the same old shit and just use it for forever. I kind of like that it forces you out of your comfort zone. If you're the kind of casual player like me that hasn't had, a million years to be building up a stockpile of this shit like some of the people I know and play with have. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that I guess it's horses for courses and everyone's going to have a different take on it. But for mine, I don't think it needs to change. I think it just adds that sense of okay, this is a deliberate action. This is a big deal. I need to be sparing with my things. And that's the end of it. Because honestly, if you've got something that you can infuse into a gun, then you've got something that it's a higher light level and you can just use it.
It's the constant. Sorry, Matt, but it's the when you're leveling up, when you're going from 600 to 650 or 650 to 700 as the next content release will bring. Do what I do, or do what fucking I want to say a very large percentage of the Destiny player base does. Just get the armor pieces as they come, dismantle your old armor pieces. And then once you get to that top level, then start playing the fashion game. Because that's all it is.
Well, I think that's what
using the enhancement cores to fucking get into the fashion game. Yeah. Destiny Souls.
So I think probably just looking at the chat, and I would agree with this, I think the major issue with it is I think there should be two different items. One for actually masterworking your gear and one for infusing.
I'll cop
because no one. I mean, judging from chat and my play style, have you ever masterworked something?
I've masterworked guns. I haven't masterworked
I've masterworked guns and armor and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
I've
never masterworked.
I dismantle it.
Never masterworked anything.
Reference Log's tweet of my absolute eyesore of a Titan. That was the offspring of a bag of Skittles and a fucking ape.
We can talk about that later. That's worrying. But look, but you're saying that all of that ugly shit on that Titan is masterworked?
No, but I could.
Wow.
Anyway, I think that definitely slows people. I don't know. I think when you get to the end game, the material should be different from like masterworking. My mind is end game. Infusion is how you get to the end game. I find it weird that they use the same economy.
Yeah, but is infusion how you get to the end game, or is loot drops how you get to the end game? It depends how you want to play it.
Like infusion is how you get the weapons and the armor that you want into the end game.
Yeah,
drops are.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
Like I will always. Okay, I tell a small fib. I will always bring up my Duke. I will always bring up my Duke up to level because my Duke has a fantastic roll. I love using it. I love the way it feels. I'm more of a feel over perk type of person when I play, and my Duke feels good. That's what I've been using. I've been using it for a long time now, and that's what I like. But everything else is just a little bit of. It's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. If you want to play the fashion game and you want to wait for enhancement, if you want to wait until end game, wait until end game, then enhance your stuff up of your best armor set or your most pretty armor set or something like that. Look like an absolute freak, an absolute abomination against nature until you get to 650.
No. After seeing your character, no.
I've gone out of my way to make my character look terrible, and then Rick's actually jumped on the bandwagon as well, and now his character looks like Voltron too.
Have you ever had anyone in Crucible and you've been like running at them or whatever, and gonna because you run around shoulder charging everyone because you're a pest? Have you ever had anyone just kind of like stop dead in shocked amazement at how hard you are to look at? Like, are you playing for some kind of tangible advantage by being that unattractive? Or
I mean, BK replied to that tweet that you put out and said, yeah, it shocks people when you're running at them, then shoulder charge. But I haven't had anyone stop and look at my Titan and go, damn, you're ugly, before shooting me. Unfortunately. Maybe one day it'll happen. Maybe one day.
Oh, well, there we go. I guess that's,
but,
fair enough.
I personally think the enhancement cause.
Oh no!
Oh,
that Bungie.
Sorry, dude. You just we lost you for a sec. You froze.
Oh, fantastic. There is a vast multitude of things that Bungie could fix over fucking enhancement cores.
Yeah, look, I do agree that there probably does need to be some kind of differentiation between the in progress kind of leveling stuff and end game stuff. I think that would probably alleviate a lot of the issues people do have with it. But for me, it's not a big issue because, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm already there. So at this point in time, I don't really care about it. It's just I want to upgrade my guns or whatever. But it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
Look at it this way. Like, there's a lot of people that I speak to, and a lot of people, I see it myself, is that PvP is in a fucking terrible state at the moment. Normal PvP and even Iron Banner is in a fucking terrible state at the moment because it's Shotgun City and Shotgun City and Instant Super City, like Blade Barrage, solo targets and all that sort of thing. Like PvP could definitely use a balance. PvP could.
I don't know, man.
PvP and someone suggested the other day when I was streaming that PvP and PvE should be separately balanced. I don't know how they do the two.
Shut up with that.
No, I know it's a huge thing. No, trust me when I say I understand that the undertaking of something like that would be fucking.
It's game development on easy mode.
Yeah, it is quite literally but it is such a huge. It is a huge undertaking, and it will never ever happen overnight. But it's just
You know what? I'm gonna be the fly in the ointment and say that I've had heaps of fun playing both Iron Banner last week and Crucible this week. In sort of two pair with one other person, with 6 other people, by myself. I've sort of run the gamut as I've been leveling through things. And to be honest, I can't cop that, like the whole, shotguns are ruining the Crucible and all this. Like, there are so many counters out there for everything. And if people don't want to put their effort into figuring out how to counter someone with a shotgun, don't bitch about it and don't say that, Crucible's broken because it doesn't suit your exact playstyle. Fucking adapt. It's what the people with shotguns have done. Like,
You do have to adapt and overcome, but every game, and I mean every fucking Crucible game, you see 90% of the enemy team, if not all of the enemy team, are running around with their retold tails out, or their fucking Mindbender's Ambition out, or whatever, or the Wish Ender, not the Wish Ender, the fucking shotgun that Shaq sells. And it's boring. For me, personally, it's boring.
Yeah, I've seen a few tweets around to that effect, that like basically saying that the state of the Crucible is like stale or however, and you know what, that's to people's taste. I still have fun. I guess it suits me running around like a Titan idiot, slamming people and shotgunning and whatever, so it suits my play style, so fair enough. But at the end of the day, like, we're always going to have these meta swings. They're always going to be these kind of, like, remember when in the start of D2, it was the mitre of all fucking things. It was like, think about where scout rifles are now. You just dismantle them. Like, you don't even fucking keep them. So it's going to swing. And it's going to swing back hard. And, like, shotguns at that point were a fucking heavy weapon. So you rarely ever got the chance to use them at all. So, I mean, it's just the pendulum swung back the other way, and it's going to take a while for it to even itself out. And I don't think the game itself can ever be truly balanced, and we're always going to have these, ebbs and flows and all that sort of shit. So
you are 100% correct.
You can say you don't like where it's at, but you can't say that it's broken or it's fucking anything like that, because it could swing back. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
If I did say it was broken, I retract that. It's not broken. It's just boring. Like, I like using bows and shit.
Like, I don't know. Destiny has never appealed to me in PvP, and I actually like PvP games. Like, you've seen my toxic side. I'll fucking get competitive. But I don't know. It's something like it's never appealed to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I've never spent the time to build a PvP character or get the right roles, or I just haven't put the time in to get the PvP builds, and that's probably part of it. I don't enjoy it. And I think that's part of the reason why people do enjoy it, because if you spend time on it, it's not an even playing field, because, if you get the right roles and you're using your class correctly, you should have an advantage in the Crucible. But, something that it's never really appealed to me, apart from just playing around.
You play what you want to play. Like, I was running around with a fucking a chaperone and a sidearm, because the chaperone is a really good counter for shotguns, because it's got a little bit more range than a lot of shotguns. It's got a little bit more range than the average shotgun. So if I was out of shoulder charge, that's what I used to counter it. I was using it and a sidearm, and I'm no PvP adept by any stretch of the imagination. You guys know that. You guys in the chat know that, and anyone who's been in my channel knows that. But you can make it work. You just have to try a little bit harder.
I think, and that's where it's at. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of, I chase the weapons that are the meta because I am average, and I go, okay, well, if that's what everyone thinks is the path of least resistance, then I take it. But part of me wishes that I wasn't that wide that way, because I think it'd be really fun to be able to get in there if I was probably a bit better at the game, and just sort of look for things that were outside of the meta that were interesting to do instead. But I don't have the ability for that.
Whenever I watch like the PvP YouTube channels, I'm like, oh, that actually looks fun, like True Vanguard or something showing you something like, oh, that looks really fun. I could do that. And then again, no, I can't.
Was it TV? Was it TV with the sidearm the other day, Sloth? I can't remember who it was. I was talking to him about this. And he's like just mowing down people who are aping at him with shotguns. He's like, see, you just use the sidearm to get rid of them. And then I go in there and go, fuck, I'm dead. I missed 3 of the 4 shots that he landed, 4 out of 4. I'm dead.
But like that's the thing right there. You make it work for you. It's just that a lot of the vocal majority are really not happy. Sorry, a vocal minority rather. They're not happy with the game. And I'll reiterate something that we have said on multiple occasions: the Destiny community does not know what the fuck you want.
Well, look, I think to parallel it to another game that's coming out very soon, Anthem. I'm interested to see what it does not having PvP in a game that's Destiny-like. Like, it's going to be interesting to see if that impacts it at all. I think Destiny's back on track now with not really caring if stuff's overpowered exotic-wise, and they've got that back in. But it's going to be an interesting sort of comparison that the only way you'll be able to interact with other players is doing co-op with them rather than always against players in PvP. So
yeah, I'm legitimately excited to see what comes with Anthem. I really am. I'm very excited to see what comes with Anthem. It could be. Sorry, I just had to fix that timer. It still said you're on Twitch. But I'm very excited to see what that game brings. Now, one thing I did want to touch on, and I talked about this on your stream last night, Log, and I just wanted to reiterate and see what us as the GDU.
You're gonna do that? You're gonna. I know where this is. This can of worms that you want to rip the lid off. Is that? Hang on. You know what? I'm gonna play Rick's video. I'm gonna play Rick's video, and when we get back, Sloth's gonna open the biggest fucking can of worms you can imagine. It's gonna be big. Matt's shitting himself. It's not that bad. Don't worry about it.
It's not that bad. Don't worry about it.
There are certain people whose avatars personify themselves in real life. Danfinity is a hunter. Mylan and Beard Grizzly are warlocks. So when you ask people who are the most titanic representations of Titans, certain names will always pop up on that list. Log Power Slave, Sheik, Faisal Meki. But the dude that is the unfuckwithable quintessence of what a Titan is a chick named BK Spleen. Seeing BK's name in a kill feed is like the answer to that question, what the fuck gives Stephen King nightmares at night? She's like a great white shark rolling up on top of a world championship surfer. True Vanguard could see her name pop up in PvP and be like, oh criminy, my undies are about to get sweat-drenched, boys. You know, because he's a good dude and doesn't swear and shit. And BK is that hyper-aggressive wild card in a match. You don't necessarily know where she's coming from, but you know she's coming fast, hard, and with impunity. In Supremacy, they was laying cats out and leaving them on the ground just fucked up like a pile of coat hangers. But anyway, BK got her claim to infamy in D1 by legitimately being in like the top 1% of melee kills and like the top 2% of Clash. However, she's playing trials against like top level dudes, Bungie devs rolling through with Danos mowing down people like grass, and ended up on some of the devs' radar. One, because of the nuisance she was causing them in trials, and two, if you follow her on Twitter, she talks about 2 things, knocking people out and baking.
But recovery is twice as fast, okay. Brawler, yes, okay, let's go punch everything.
Bakes her ass off. Pies, pastries. She made these ghost cookies one year. They were done in a white bonnet with azure blue eyes. They were stunning. So flash ahead to D2. Year 1 fell flat around the dawning and people had started to exodus the playlist like, you know, the Pharaoh was on their ass. They had fucked off to Fortnite, Overwatch. I myself had been kicking it around a bit in Sea of Thieves and Siege. So a few months down the road, Bungie threw this big summit at the headquarters. They were bringing in content creators from around the world to get feedback about how the game could be turned around. BK's in the middle of planning a wedding and isn't really a content creator, but one of the dudes from Bungie reaches out to her privately through DMs and asks her, "Yo, BK, if you could add 2 improvements to Destiny, what would they be?" To which she responds with, "Bring back one-hit shoulder charge and introduce baked goods, blank stare emoji." So after a day or so, the dev replies, "I can see one-hit shoulder charge being an issue to game balance, and for the life of me, I have no idea why anybody would want baked goods. Laughing tears emoji." To which BK immediately replies, "Figure it the fuck out, Nancy boy, and while you're at it, tell sandbox developer name redacted, it's okay if he's scared that I might shove his golden gun up his arse again like in D1. If he's scared, just say he's scared. Hashtag Destiny Easy Bake Oven, hashtag YOLO, hashtag you want your fucking scared bitch boy." Now, I'm not saying that this alleged conversation is the only reason things changed, but as you may have noticed, Striker Titans got their one-hit shoulder charge back, Trials just kinda disappeared mysteriously, and the Dawning this year revolves solely around the baking of cookies. Cookies. So if you happen to be in the Crucible and a sociopathic Striker Titan comes flying around a corner geeked out on macaroons and crumb cake like a Japanese bullet train and blasts you into next week, just say GG BK and thank you for saving Christmas.
Oh my lord.
How does he even think of this shit?
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. So, BK, thank you very much for saving Christmas. The Titan, she's a serious Titan too. And BK and I share a birthday. That's how Titan we are. All Titans are born on the same day. It's a little known fact. But there we go.
That was great. Yeah, the dev smack talk was amazing. Yeah,
I mean, I imagine none of that whatsoever actually happened, but it doesn't matter because it's fucking funny. Oh, anyway.
Oh, all right. So,
all right, can of worms, go.
I can't remember if I've seen this on a Reddit thread or if it popped into my head or someone else put it on Twitter, and I've wholeheartedly thieved it. And I apologize in advance. But it might have been on a stream as well. What if, and this is a massive red herring, but what if the next raid release, whatever it may be, what if the next raid release in Destiny, people could only get up to a certain power level until the raid was completed for the first time? I.e., let's say Last Wish had a level cap of 635.
Yeah, I hear you.
You mean like
what if Last Wish
it would have been less,
like
but, yeah.
to get into the first sorry, let me rephrase. Imagine is the highest light that people could get to was 635 until Last Wish had been completed for the first time. And then once you finish the raid, then everyone else, like once the first team crosses the line with the finish, then you get up to, then everyone can continually go forward and do more raid.
This
like
is
that,
just
they can get up to power level.
I think
it's quickly. People blasting through the raid on day one. Is that why you want to do this?
This is the reason why I'm saying this. The reason why I'm saying is to stop people hoarding powerful engrams. So,
they've acknowledged that's an issue. In the last 12, I think it was the last 12 of last year, they've said that they're going to be, or maybe it was the one before, I can't remember, but they were saying that they're going to look at minimizing the way for people to carry things over between seasons and get that huge sort of boost of things. So they've acknowledged that it's an issue. And when you first suggested this idea to me last night, I kind of went, man, people will fucking hate that. But after having slept on it, I think that there will be equally as many people will go, oh, fuck. So me and my mates who are, don't have the time to, or haven't done the preparation to get into the raid race at a level above, at a light level or power level or whatever it is now, that's on par with the big streamers and shit that do this professionally.
Because
can get
if
into the
they-
raid race and have a shot on a level playing field with people irrespective. I think it's a big deal, man. I think it's a big deal, and it also makes sure that like the raid is equally as difficult for everyone.
It levels the playing field really quickly, and it also adds a level of predictability from a game developer's point of view, because they 100% will know if you gate it, people will be at that level, so they can adjust accordingly.
Well, look at it this way. So, Scourge of the Past. Scourge of the Past was completed with just a tad under 2 hours by, what was it, Redeem or something, wasn't it? And they were all around about 650. Imagine if they gated, if they, no one could go any higher. No one could go any higher than, let's say, 630.
Well, that's what we did it
until the raid has been beaten for the first time. That would allow a lot more people to get involved. The bigger streamers, and Mr. Dino, I see your the bigger streamers, they have the time. The bigger content creators, they have the time, they have the ability to grind. And yes, they should be. They are 125% should be rewarded for the grind that they do. However, if Bungie are going to do these raid races and they're going to give away physical prizes for crossing the line first or crossing the line within 24 hours and all that sort of thing, it shouldn't come down to power level. It should come down to teamwork and how good your team works together. If everyone's at 630, then it comes down to you and your team being able to use this bit of grey matter up here and actually think about the content, think about the raid, think about the challenges, think about the encounters, and go, okay, how do we do this?
I'm sure in like bringing it back, just we're not saying that the people who've done these fucking raids and got worlds first haven't been using their brain, because they most certainly have.
No, not even in the slightest. No.
I don't know. I mean, for mine, there's two sides to it, right? Like, it does sort of truncate the amount of people who can realistically be the front runners in this, in the raid race, right? Like, it brings it back to a list that might be manageable in terms of like who to, as a spectator event. So for me, I know that I could probably go on one of 6 channels and see the people who are likely up the front or very close, right? Where this blows the fucking doors off that, and there's a fair chance that the people leading the raid race could not even be streaming or anything like that at all. So it does change the landscape in that respect. So I'm not sure that that's a particularly healthy thing in terms of having it be a big event on Twitch and things like that. It's, because you look at Ninja. Ninja it's been huge for him and his career as a streamer and things like that. So I wouldn't want to see that taken away from anyone. But as the like leveling the playing field and all that sort of stuff, part of me agrees with it. I think it's one of those things that like, it'd be unpopular. People would be fucking pissed off, but at the same time,
I don't feel like you need to level the playing field anymore. I feel like we've gone down the path of we spoke this last time we were on, like, they need to decide what kind of game they are, and if they're just going to be like, no, like when Black Armory came out, and it was like, no, well, we're not a casual loot and shoot. Like, if you want to be able to pass this, you're going to have to put some time into it.
Yeah. And
just sort of set that as an expectation. Like, I mean, this is the thing, right? Let's imagine Twitch doesn't exist. Okay, there's no streaming. Let's imagine there's no streaming platform. Okay. Would that change your opinion of what you just said?
No, none whatsoever. If there was no streaming platform, the game wouldn't be as popular, but it's in the same boat of, as you said, they need to decide what the game needs to become. And I think the game has the legs to become something more, rather than just grinding for power level and all that sort of gear. Then it can become more about tactics and all of that sort of thing. The Twitch part is all completely secondary.
Well, I just feel like a lot of people, when you bring up this conversation, will be like, well, I don't have as many hours as someone who can play games all day. And it comes down to people whose jobs is to stream.
That's a them issue.
Well, why can't I just say that that's a you issue, that you don't have enough time to do it to go into the raid?
I have more than enough time to do it. You know full well that I do. I choose not to, but I have the reason why I say this is that because it's always the same people at the top, and I want to see someone else at the top.
But we
Well,
have
that's not a
seen
reason
that.
to change it.
That we have seen that though. Like we've seen that with Ninja and things like that. Like there's definitely scope for it. As hard as it is, it's I don't know. I mean, part of me likes that kind of like, you know, if you are going to be up there and fucking have your shot, you better be prepared, and you better be prepared to compete on the level of the big boys, like the Glads and the
and
Dados and the tier
why-
ones and all that shit.
And that's why I would make the power level cap lower. I would make the power level cap lower, so more people can put these guys to the fire and go, well, we've got more people that can really give us grief and all that sort of thing, and make it like it's amazing that Redeem and Tier 1 and the people who have won, like get Dado's clan, the Brain Army or whatever the fuck they're called,
Math class.
that they've won math class,
The
that they've
Brain
won.
Army.
Or the wobblers in Gotham Broman's case, like I'm really glad that they did win, and I'm not trying to take away from that whatsoever. It is a fucking absolute achievement that they have won as many times as they've won, or even if they've won once. But if they had more people putting them to the fire, then.
But this is my exact point. If you had Twitch that wasn't there, I don't see your point if you remove Twitch from the equation. Do you know what I mean? That's one of my points, is that Twitch is very much linked to Destiny 2, especially when it comes to raid races, and has changed the culture a lot. Like, think back to Vault of Glass. Like, was that streamed? Was that
that was streamed
before?
Yeah, that was 100% streamed.
I feel like Twitch as a platform, and I'm hesitant to modify something on modify Destiny based on a big impact that a platform's having, like Twitch or whatever it comes across, like modifying Destiny based on the impact of a third party platform. So that's like one of the things I think about. I definitely hear your point with like, I 100% hear your point about it being down to who can solve puzzles quickest rather than who had more time to get power levels in the week prior. I get that point. And I agree with that point, which is sort of why I'm like on the fence, because I would love that too. But I also feel like this is going back to making it casual again, and giving everyone can participate trophy.
It's
I don't agree with,
because keep the raids at the difficulty that they are. I'm going to throw out a number here, and feel free to correct me, but 90% of the teams will drop out at the first or second encounter because A, they don't have the teamwork, B, they don't have the IQ to do it, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. But there are people out there who are thicker than fucking cinder blocks, and hi, and you're a scientist. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like Twitch streaming platforms as a whole.
If that's the case, what will you achieve? Well, if that's the case, what will you achieve by dropping the power level?
Then the people who just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it are rewarded.
Well, it's still the top 10%.
Yeah, but it's better than 1% at the moment, because it is a 1% game at the moment.
Anyway, I think I hear your point on the puzzle solving stuff. I get that, because I think that would increase the competitiveness for raid races. And I would like to see, that's the most exciting thing about raid races is exciting, because you see who clicks and who first solves it. And then you see this shockwave of like Chinese whispers as it goes to the other streamers. And then you see other people get it. And then and it's that's the exciting part. And I agree with that. I have some reservations about making it easy for everyone to jump in, because then what do you have to do? Then do you have to bump it up? Because obviously the boss, then you definitely need a prestige mode, because if you're capped at it's at 535, then you definitely going to need a prestige mode once you allow people to get to,
Now, prestige mode, that's also another thing that I did think about. Prestige mode didn't make a return on Last Wish or Scourge of the Past. It didn't make a return. And that actually legitimately made me a little think about that and go, why? Why didn't they do that? Because the initial raid race is fantastic because everyone's figuring it out themselves. Well, not in the first raid of Destiny 1, but everyone's figuring it out for themselves and all that sort of thing. The hard mode or the prestige mode raid race is for the people that is for the hardcore. That is for the people who are grinding and using the exploits and all that sort of thing to get up to max level as hard as they can. And then Bungie can make that prestige raid as hard as they possibly can to try and get that experience.
I think the thing that we're not really sort of touching on here is the fact that if you lowered the light level at which everyone could enter a raid that is designed to be played at 650 to 635, it becomes really fucking nasty.
For the first encounter. I must preface that by saying, that is only for to lock to get into the you can only go as high as 630 up until the first encounter. Once the first encounter happens, then you can go up, and it gets you go up higher and higher the more that you the more.
What do you mean encounter? Do you mean like once it's been completed, then it unlocks, or
no, like first boss, second boss, third boss.
So let's go with Shirochi, first boss in Last Wish. Shirochi. Once people completed Shirochi, then people could go up to 640. Second encounter,
you'd have people dropping out and coming back in to do it. I think there's a lot of things that I like the idea of evening the playing field, but at the same time, I think that maybe as much as it sucks for the people who are time poor and can't, power out the levels, it's kind of maybe it's fair enough as it is.
Yeah. See, I 100% miss. I miss being able to do that because I haven't legitimately tried a raid race in a long time, and I think we put together a team. Was it Riven?
Last Wish. Last Wish we did.
Someone had
because we were all severely underleveled,
and we were severely underleveled as well.
Yeah,
and so I 100% miss getting in there and trying it, but I've also accepted that. For me, a lot of my motivation, I don't really care about the fashion. I don't really care about roles. My main motivation playing Destiny is get enough loot to play the raid and enjoy the raid with friends. That's literally why, from a gameplay point of view, why I play Destiny is. And once I've done that, my gameplay goes down a lot, and I just read lore essentially. So I feel like.
So you're a filthy fucking casual.
Yeah. That would take a lot of my reason to play Destiny out of the loop, because if I could get there real quick and play the raid, which is what Destiny 2 was, there was no reason for me to play it because I was already at the power level I needed to get in there.
The other thing is that it'd be absolutely brutal. You'd be going in under level. It wouldn't be the level's lower, I'm going in and it's going to breeze through it. It'd be fucking absolutely brutal because if you're going into it, forced to be under level.
It is end game content. Maybe this is my WoW background poking through, but a new raid should be
your WoW is showing.
Your WoW is showing. But it should be a test of your skills that you have learnt in the game. It should be a test of the teamwork that you have learnt in the game. Because yes, you can play Destiny solo, but personally, I do truly believe that you are missing out if you play Destiny solo. It is very muchly social game. It is a social game, and then you learn the teamwork. Like warlocks help with healing, and they help with, like, I'm talking about min-maxing and all this sort of thing here as well, and RPG elements, but warlocks help with healing with the sword and the stone fucking super and all that sort of thing. Titans paired with hunters are your damage dealers. Like, you've got debuffs, so Titans use debuffs to break armor and all that sort of thing, and the more difficult it is, personally, I will feel a hell of a lot better after I complete it for the first time. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, fair enough.
My hardcore RPG background.
Yeah, but won't this make it easier? Won't this make it easier, Sloth, what you're suggesting?
No,
it won't, because you'll go into the raid at a lower light. You can't progress further than that lower light until the raid is completed. Yeah,
like what he's saying is that the raid difficulty never changes. The light level you can go into it does. So the difference between what we went through the other night with Scourge at 6:35 or wherever we were to the way it would be now if we went and did it at 6:50 is, there's a huge difference in the squishiness.
Part of me would challenge you whether it would be easy, because if the developers know exactly what light you're going to be at, they're going to make sure that it'll be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Wade is now, like, I don't think you even get close to. I don't know.
Well, I think it's a hard one, and I think that what we've proved by talking about it
is 100%.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I'm always on the lower end of what I should be when I go into a raid, so it's already hard for me. Like, although we got through Scourge of the Past, I'm always on the lower end of that, and for me, I feel like it would make it easier because I'll be going in at the right level for what the raid was designed.
No. You're not picking up what I'm putting down. So your base level is, so let's say whatever raid comes with Joker's Wild, if there is a raid with Joker's Wild, you can only, so the release is on Tuesday, the raid's on Friday. On Tuesday, you can go as high as 680. That is as high as you can go until the raid has been completed. Once the raid is completed, then you can go to 700, and that opens it up to the rest of the community, like they did with the curse, like the curse kind of situation.
My point is how you arrive at the number that you're going to be capped at until it's completed. It's going to be based.
That's up to the developers.
Yeah, it's going to be based on averages, what they average think is acceptable to go in and do the raid. And I'm saying I'm below average. So if it's average, I'm the normal. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying. But this is only in the first raid. Once the raid has been completed by the world's first teams, then you can go up in light as much as you want. By going in PvP or just grinding out powerful engrams and all that sort of thing. Like, but for to make it a little bit more difficult for the teams, like 21 hours is a long fucking raid. No, I believe you me, I fucking know this.
Yeah.
But
that's the other thing. Like, I think the major releases have different expectations too, I guess. Like the Black Armory raid is different from the Last Wish raid.
And I think that's an important thing too.
That's gonna continue. That trend's always gonna continue. The raid layers are different from. Well, actually, one of the raid layers was quite difficult. Well, wasn't the
Spire was apparently really difficult. I haven't done it. So it must be.
I've done it once.
I've done Spire a few times, but like,
see, that's what I miss too. Like, part of me is like, that would be sweet stuff, because then I could actually play the raids earlier and like spend some time with them, rather than like by the time I get ready for the raid, like the next bit of content's coming out. And then I'm like, I'm back into reading lore cards, I
think the one thing that we can take out of this conversation, and I think maybe we'll try and find contentious points and just throw them up and discuss them as we do. But I think the one thing that we've proved is that it's going to suit some people. Other people aren't going to like it. It's just it's so fucking I can see both sides of it. I can 100% see both sides of it. And maybe it's just not fucking with a recipe that's working, because it is a big event. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Glad did the fucking new raid in under 9 minutes the other day. So, you know, not to feel fucking inadequate.
We can't even organise our teams in under 9 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
see, that's the thing right there, is those guys will always find ways to push the content. They will always find ways to push the content and make it work for them and make content out of it. Like, those guys are very, very fucking accomplished traders, and they work hard for what they do. And I don't know, like, I don't know why this thought crossed my mind. I really don't. I don't know if I heard it somewhere, read it on Reddit, saw it on Reddit rather, or on Twitter or wherever. But I don't know. I think it's I came up with it, so I think it's a decent. I brought it up, so I obviously think it's a decent idea. But that's just me.
Yeah. Well,
if you were watching this video on YouTube and you just saw Mylan raise his eyebrow and think he just look at himself smugly, I'm just going to put the chat up so you can see that someone's in chat, ads forsaken, blowing sunshine up his ass. Mylan played like a god. He's never done that. He never will. So
Mylan has never because I wrote really. Doesn't sound like me. Are you sure? Was it Mirren? It wasn't Mirren.
Mayron game.
Was it Mayron Shader?
Mayron,
yeah. All right. If you've got any questions, fire them away now. But we're gonna wind down. We'll finish it up. But we'll get a few questions in if you've got them. But I think like Slothy, fair enough. Fair enough. Bringing something to the table, and bring something in to debate it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a gift.
It's the other thing that I really wanted to touch on as well is that I wonder how Destiny, and I know that you're going to roll your eyes at this, and I rolled my eyes when it crossed my mind for the first time, but the more I think about it, the more I tend to, it's in my mind more often, is if Anthem is a success, which is gearing up to look like it may well be quite good, how is Destiny, how is Bungie going to make the best Destiny they can to keep their player base in Destiny? I'm not comparing the two. I'm trying my very, very best to not compare the two. I don't want to do a Division 1, it will be the Destiny killer. But it will, like, it's drawn the attention of a lot of people. And how are they going to keep the Destiny player base in Destiny?
We spoke about this already. And Log's response was the shooter, the loot and shoot, like Anthem still doesn't compete to that in regards to.
Yeah, it'll never compete on gunplay because it's third person and all that. But look, I'm gonna answer this really fucking succinctly as I can. The only thing that has ever been proven to do any harm to Destiny whatsoever is Destiny, right? The division come along, and everyone went, "Oh, it's got to kill Destiny. This is gonna fuck you up," and it didn't. Everything else that's come along since. But when D2 launched and Destiny wasn't Destiny or Destiny enough, it fucking tanked. So really, that's where we're at. I hope Anthem's great. I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm not particularly worried about it. But I mean, honestly, I hope that it's one of those things where, and just hear me out before, because I'm gonna say this. Like, you look at what PUBG did with the Battle Royale thing, and that's kind of started this whole like kind of innovation and sort of competitiveness in all forms of games trying to get in on that market. What I hope for Anthem and Destiny and games that have this kind of like I mean, not specifically sci-fi games, but the games that are rooted in the same thing, like the looter shooter kind of explorative character building games like what Destiny is. All I want to see is innovation. And I hope that there's innovation in Anthem that prompts Destiny to have a look at itself and say, shit, there's things that we could do better that we probably never thought about that approach. That's because when you think about what a battle royale is, it is a fucking simple idea. And how did it take 30 odd years of game development for someone to come up with that? Oh, you get a ring and just make it smaller and then they have to fight. It's the fucking Hunger Games, man. It's been movies for years. Like, I just hope that's what I hope from Anthem. I don't look at it as, like I think that whole games killing games is just bullshit.
No,
except the fact that Fortnite killed PUBG.
That's definitely not the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, you were talking about Destiny's response to competition.
To competition, because there is no game like Destiny.
We've seen Destiny's response to competition. I mean, I think Forsaken introducing Gambit is a response that is very unique to Destiny. It is a great game mode. That's the only time I enjoy PvP is when it's mixed with PvE like that. And it suits their world and it suits their game immensely. And I think you can't achieve that with another. I mean, Anthem can't do that. They don't even have PvP. So I think that, Destiny's proved themselves like in being able to do something like that.
Yeah. The point I was trying to make is that I hope it makes Destiny better, because not by introducing things that introducing the same thing and then just putting a skin over the top of it, PUBG, Fortnite, Ring of Elysium, but actually innovating to draw people back into Destiny, because this time that this point of Destiny where we're at, this expansion pass, or sorry, not expansion pass, this annual pass point, where a lot of people are leaving the game and they're finding it very difficult to jump back in. I'm finding it very difficult to jump back in. I fucking love the game. I do. Like, I legitimately do. I'm very vocal about it. You guys know this and all that sort of thing. But
I'd say that putting aside an hour and a half every week to be on a podcast about it pretty accurately displays how much I care about Destiny, mate. So no one's questioning it. It's fine.
No, but like I am finding it very difficult to get back into Destiny. I really am, because this content, Black Armory, as I love, like Black Armory has some awesome ideas. The execution was, in my personal opinion, not very good, but it does have some excellent ideas that can bring people back into the game.
Hey, when are we getting Nobi Labs?
Next week,
Tuesday,
the 8th.
Tuesday, I believe.
Ooh.
It'd be interesting to see when we get the full picture of what this sort of
Black
content
is. Yeah.
What that's what I'm waiting for, to really like look. There are parts of this. I'll be honest. There are parts of this content release that have pissed me off. I think the steps between the foundries were just like way too long and too rote. Like, I think that they could have been halved and it would have done the job just as well, given that you're not really developing anything and, you're just going and doing the Destiny dishes, for want of a better word. But
quite legitimately,
I think the forges themselves are fucking cool.
Especially
the Is an Army. The Is an Army forge is fucking excellent, because it's got that, like everything's distant and you got to throw, like it requires on a double throw to be able to bank them from further away. And I like that.
You can't, like you're not working you're working as a team, but you're not in each other's faces and backing each other up. Like the dude at the forge, the person at the forge has to load the balls in while defending themselves, while defending the forge. One on one side, getting the balls, throwing them up, defending themselves, and one on the other side, same. Like, that is a fantastic idea. The rest of the content release is very dry.
Yeah, and
it's very dry.
Couple that with the fact that we saw nothing for... And I know that there's, like the next DLC is centered around Gambit, or at least it appears it will be. But we didn't see a Crucible map, or we didn't see a Gambit map, or, and the other thing that we were talking about the other day is, why don't they change up Gambit per season? And I'm not talking like ball-breaking fucking huge changes. I mean, like, what if they just changed what enemies appeared on the other side with the 5, 10, and 15 motes? Like, what if it was like the bubble fucking fallen dudes instead of the phalanxes? Like, it'd change the fucking game.
Just a randomized enemy.
Can we get a mech warrior? Can we get the mech boss with 15 mates?
You know what, Matt? I know nothing about game development, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say we just put it in there.
Just shrink it down, dump it in on the other side.
I mean, we've seen enemies get bigger. We can fucking shrink them. How hard can it be?
It should be Joker's Wild should be very, very interesting to see how they've taken the successes of Black Armory and Forsaken and making them better and taking the failures, well, not failures, not abject failures, but taking the negatives of Black Armory and Forsaken and improving them. Because that's one thing that Destiny, since Warmind, since the community summit and all that sort of thing, they have been improving a lot.
Oh yeah,
every single content release, and even like updates, a few updates, quality of life updates and all that sort of thing, they are improving a lot. Bungie are working their asses off to give the community what they want, but the community doesn't know what the fuck they want because we're all, complete muppets.
I think it's one of those things where you look at Black Armory and there's elements of it where it is apparent that they've given us exactly what we've asked for or what the community as a whole has asked for, and it's kind of, we want stuff we can grind, and we don't want to, we want things to last for longer. And then the missions between forges go for 5 hours, and you're trying to you're grinding 15 times to get the fucking blast furnace roll that you want, and people are like, "Wow, what the fuck? It took too long to get there, and now I've got to do it." And it's kind of like, I think they will find the middle ground. I just think that they're in uncharted territory, and they're gonna have to do it. It's gonna take a bit of toing and froing. Look at Matt. We've lost Matt. Matt's broken.
Yeah. The Is an Army Forge, I unlocked that the other day, and I actually did unlock that, regardless of whether log thinks so or not. Go fuck yourself. But I did that, and some of the quest steps were
that shit
boring.
No, it wasn't real.
There's no like, you can say they're fucked. They're this, that, and the other. You could go. Out of your way and just scream about them from the top of the mountain, but in every sense of the word, they were just boring.
Mm.
And I'd like go and kill 20 Minotaurs.
Yeah.
I understand that they're trying to get value. Like when you look at the way that they've structured it, in that you're exploring places you've been before, going into lost sectors, things like that, places that you probably haven't, spent a great deal of time in, and doing that and getting that additional value out of it. But at the same time, like, your face is boring. All right. Well, look, I think we might have talked ourselves to a standstill. There was one comment that I wanted to quickly duck back to from Jugs. That he says, I'm curious about what Niobe Labs and the fact that they've described it as an event, not a dungeon or anything. Do you guys, do we want to sit here and have a punt at what we think it'll be?
Look, my prediction is it has something to do with civics, because it would be really weird for them to finish Black Armory and not, like, he's the instigator of this whole thing.
Yeah.
He's the I was going to use the name now. Who was the guy in Wrath of the Machine? Archon. No.
Axis.
He's Axis. He's the Oryx. He's the Riven. He's the Riven of Black Armory. Where the fuck is like? It's going to finish with that. That's my.
Well, I mean,
capture, kill him, whatever.
There's Niobe, and then there's another forge that people are saying is rumored to accept all weapon frames.
I reckon that's going to be a subsequent. I reckon that's going to be, if that is true, it'll be a subsequent unlock after the Niobe Labs thing. And I reckon Matt's on the money. I reckon we're going to face Civics, and then as a reward for solving all of their problems, we're going to go and see Ada, and she's going to go, guess what? We've got this bitchin' excellent foundry that you can do whenever you want, and here it is, and go and do it after you've quested for 5 hours to unlock it.
You know what? Like the Niobe Labs. When they say event, I automatically go to Dawning or the Halloween one or anything like that. That's what I think. That's what I think of when I see an event.
Yeah, okay.
Other people like as who said that? Liquid Beef Supreme in the chat. Good name, I like it. Liquid Beef. Fuck, I could go for a pizza. Sorry.
Strange man.
I am a very strange man, yeah. But no, the
events you're talking about.
The events. Or are they going to do a Thunderlord type event that's going to take 3 weeks?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
like-
look, okay, I don't know. I mean, the event, you're right. That word in itself is the cat amongst the pigeons, right? It could mean
It is
anything.
very much like.
I to wrap up, I haven't run this past you guys, but I've just had a brainwave. Might be
Here
a
we
nice
go.
way to.
I mean,
like,
let's be honest,
conversation, 'cause-
Matt. You're completely allowed because it's me and Sloth do this shit every week.
every week, right, without checking. Well, you know, we've been talking towards the back end of the cast. We often talk a little bit more like gaming news or just sort of other games. What's been happening?
Yep.
What if we just share, go into YouTube history, the last 5 videos you watched as a bit of a as a bit of a like what's been happening in my life.
Hang fire. All right. What are your 5? What are your last 5 videos?
So,
Yeah, I'll
my
pull it up on
most
my phone.
recent one was Yongyi, Activision Blizzard loses a second CFO.
Get ready for you, Bear, to
Because-
be all games business shit, and mine will be completely fucking different. Right?
I'll tell you.
Because I was watching our Activision added the red dot for $1 or whatever, or $3 into Black Ops. Did you see that?
Yeah.
yeah,
It
not real.
cost $1 or it cost whatever to buy a red dot. The second one was H3 Productions, Rice Gum and bloody Jake Paul with the sponsorship.
Oh, with the
about
gambling
the
thing.
gambling sponsorship. The third one was Jack Frags playing Ring of Elysium, and the title was Battle Royale games made by 6-year-olds is pretty fun. And he was just snowboarding and driving monster trucks. The fourth one was Welcome to Fallout 76 PvP by a guy called, I'm not subscribed to him, Gev Do It. And it was just a montage of him going up to people in Fallout 76 going, "Oh, come on, fight me. Come on, fight me." And then nobody, he was level 100. And then, "Come on, fight me." Then eventually, like a level 10, shot him once and then he just bitch slapped him. just one shot backhand them and they were just dead. And
That's funny.
the last one, number 5 in my YouTube history, is Jim Sterling. Fallout 76's nukes stopped working because it's 2019, which was apparently an event in Fallout 76 that was meant to happen on New Year's Day, and it just didn't work. Apparently, some nukes were meant to fall on New Year's Day, and
it never happened.
Nothing happened.
Everyone's standing outside looking up.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up. That sounds like great Jim Sterling fodder.
funny.
That's fun. All right, Slothy, what you got?
You go first, mate.
All right, okay. Mine's gonna be like a mix between boring. How to update your BIOS. that was a good one. I did that the other day. Ed's helped me out. He's in chat, so thank you very much for that. What else have we got? Red Dead Redemption 2, the musical. Rick's video. Set to Nathaniel Ratliff's what's it called? Son of a bitch or whatever.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Destiny 2, Black Armory, Scourge of the Past, Raid Explained. There's a Mylan Games. Did you know that was going to be in there?
No, but
You actually
there you
watch
go.
his content?
Yeah.
You fucking sellout.
I mean, I might have accidentally clicked on it. There's only about the red bar at the bottom is like a fucking. There's not, yeah. What else have I got here? Boring guitar fucking tone things for doing the songs. And Devin Townsend band Vampira official video.
That is such a fantastic film clip.
That
Holy
is
fuck.
quite literally the gamut of who I am as an individual. Just silly stuff, funny stuff, music production stuff, and like basic shit that other people would know about computers that I just don't. So,
I'm gonna have to watch more I'm gonna have to watch more interesting shit if we're gonna do this every week.
Well, that's the
Because
funny part about not talking about it.
You son of a bitch. The first one that I most recently watched was the music video for Rats by Ghost.
Is that the one where he's dancing heaps, or is that?
Yeah. Where he's ballet dancing and all that sort of thing. It's fucking fantastic. My second one is the Funhouse playthrough of Hitman 2 called Slumdog Killionaire, when they're in Mumbai killing a whole bunch of terrible people in Mumbai. The third one, it's like you'll see a pattern here. Funhouse playing a ancient old game called Siberia, and the name of it is called Jack to the Future. The third one is a game is Funhouse again. Die-hard tryhards Funhouse playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And then the fourth and fifth one is a game called Never Break Up by Funhouse. Part 1 and part 2.
I think you need some variety.
It's like I watch a lot of Funhouse.
Oh, wow. Who'd have thunk it?
There is legitimately, if I go back through about 20...
All right, what was the last thing you watched before that wasn't Funhouse? Give us 2 things that aren't Funhouse that are in your history.
Okay, this is a friend of mine, one of my regular viewers, sent me a YouTube video of him playing Eye of the Tiger, and it's first time practice, smiley face, by my mate Winchy, who hasn't played drums in 13 years, and he decided to record himself at his church playing drums, playing Eye of the Tiger on drums. And then the second one.
How'd he go on the shuffle? Because it's got that real drove it on.
He's actually, for someone who hasn't played for 13 years, fucking very, very muchly on point. Just a tad out of time. Just a tad out of time.
Good job, son.
Not putting the effort, like not hitting them as hard as he can, but I think it was for audio issues. Like not putting the effort.
Right. I mean, it was supposed to be in a church. You don't want to really fucking.
And the next non-Funhouse video, I have to scroll down 8 pages, and it is Red Dead Redemption 2, the musical.
Oh, Rick's video. There you go. There you go. Son of a bitch.
Tommy drink.
That was a good idea, Matt. I think we can't do that every week, because otherwise, like, I know what we're all like, and we'll start getting crafty with it and like curating our fucking things. Randomly we're going to do this. And I think we might come up with a few different ideas for just different shit to do at the end for a laugh. I think that was a good that was good. I like that. I'll pay that, man. No, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for for showing up and hanging out with us on our return stream to 2019, where we talk about my anus, video games, Destiny, and YouTube videos. Guys, if you've made it this far into the podcast and you're still watching and you're watching on YouTube, please, if you can't figure out something that you want to put into the comments, just chuck into the comments. Happy New Year. Basically,
come on. We can do better than that.
Well, fucking make it up yourself then.
Actually, no, as a shout out to the dude who every week like puts the timestamp in the comments of when we actually start talking about Destiny. Can everyone just go actual podcast starts at and then put a random time just to completely muddy the water?
Actual podcast starts at timestamp.
I can't remember the dude's name, but I think he might be taking a piss. If not, fair enough.
Well, it's either that or extremely accurate, because sometimes it's like actual podcast 20 minutes. Or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot my story that I got like rickrolled at the beginning.
All right, get that out and then we'll close out.
All right,
get that out and then we'll close out.
Okay, what's this? I haven't heard anything about this.
Yes, you have. I put it in the. Okay, so look, I release videos quite early in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this.
And look, I always tell myself, like, don't respond to people. It's a very visceral response reading YouTube comments. It gets easier as time goes on, but every now and then, like, maybe your mind's not in quite the right spot, and you start reading comments, you're like, well, you get all arky. And like one of these comments, it was like one of the very first comments was like, you have 1 week to delete your whole. It seems so obvious that it was bullshit. Like to delete your channel.
You need to dig it out, Matt, and read it out properly.
Hang on, Matt. I'll actually find the fucking thing.
And get Sloth to read it out. Get Sloth to read it out because he's really good at reading things out.
Okay, that was 3 days ago. It was that video. All right, cool. Let's have a look at the comments.
Or
No,
do you
I
want
got,
to-
I got it right here, man. I got it right here.
Okay.
Are you looking through for it? Because he might have blocked it.
No. Oh yeah, he might have removed it. I didn't block it. It should still be there. I've got it on. Twitter, though.
It should still be there. Hang on. I've got to scroll down all the way down to the bottom. What the fuck? Where is it?
Just look at my Twitter profile. It's posted on there. It's
God
like
damn it.
God, you're just driving your
You're
Twitter
making me
profile
do.
hard.
You're making me do things, Matt.
Well,
fuck's
I
sake.
said I was gonna read it, but you wanted to.
Well, I want to fucking read it. Go fuck yourself.
It's funny.
Yeah, go
Sloth will do it
on.
funny. It'll be funny.
All right. So, I'm gonna do my best Zavala.
I'm going to do my
30
best Mylan games pre-coffee in the morning. I'm going to.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Mylan sat down at his computer. He released the video. He hasn't had coffee
He's
yet.
like this.
He's reading through the comments and all that sort of thing. And he sees a comment 34 seconds ago from Trivortex. Good morning. You don't have to know who I am, but what I'm telling you is a serious matter. You see, recently, my 7-year-old son complains about having nightmares after being exposed to disturbing content on the internet. I asked him to show me what it was. He directed me to your channel. I'm appalled at the violent content I saw. This is just disturbing. I'm shocked that something so violent could be allowed on the internet, especially when listed public and accessible by children as young as my son.
Children.
Do you know children's? That's fine. Do you know that there are children as young as 5 years of age on YouTube this instant? What if they saw your stuff and get traumatized? The world's crime rate is high as it is. Do you want to set up a bad example for the future generations? People like Bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, and Kim Jong-il exist due to violent influence on the media. Do you want to contribute these statistics? Because of this, on behalf of all good parents on the internet, I am ordering you to delete all your videos fast, right now.
Right now.
This is not a request. This is a demand. This is an order. My son uses the internet every week, especially during weekends. Because of this, I expect to see your channel empty of videos latest by this Friday, before my son uses the internet. Please take this seriously. I am warning you. Have all your videos taken down this instance, or else strict actions will be taken.
Come on, Matt.
I know. But do you know what? In my defense, you know how you read something, but your brain latches onto the certain part?
Yeah, you skim over it. Yeah.
And early in the morning, I just latched onto the first paragraph, which is like, my son had nightmares and he showed me the channel and it's violent. And I've had not parents, but I've had people like that are like that they don't let their kids have anything that involve video games. Like with my stuff with like occupational therapy and working with kids with autism, like I've had parents that are like, we don't allow guns at all. You can't draw a gun. You can't look at a gun. You can't look it up on a gun and like stuff like that, right? And so my brain just latched on to like that it could be plausible.
Yeah, there's some zealots for
And
any
because
channel.
it's also the internet and there's people that are fucking proper nutters that could do this. But when you read it like that in their fucking voice, like obviously it's fake.
I saw it and made it as a troll, but Matt, like 20 minutes after this happened, I was already awake. And 20 minutes after this happened, Matt's like, hey, do you want to play some Insurgency? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And then he told me about it. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking troll. It's legitimately a troll. But I understand the fear because people like that, they will use every means necessary. If they're actually true, they will use every means necessary to take down your channel, whether it's false MCA takedowns, BSG, or anything else. Like they're just they're fucking nutcases.
But
just don't be a nutcase.
Even though like you could say that's like a troll. It could also be true. Like there's people out there that
there are people
say,
out there.
There are
you know what?
idiots out there.
Coming from a goddamn parent. Okay, coming from a goddamn parent. If you are upset with the content that your child takes on the internet, if you're upset with the content that your child sees on the internet, maybe you as the fucking parent, should goddamn do something about it instead of blaming everybody else. Be a fucking parent. Don't be a fucking twat and blame everybody else. You're a fucking adult. Act like it.
So, do you know why I thought of it being real is also because of I think it was either Dr. Lupo or it might have been one of the other guys, like that a parent, I can't believe you're not playing Fortnite anymore. We built you. It was one of the only things I used to do with my son is watch, your live streams. And it had the same tone as that message, just without the Saddam Hussein Bin Laden part.
Oh,
Okay?
well, I mean, yeah,
it was.
I forgot about that. Mylan Games is fostering the next generation of fucking terrorists.
Saddam Hussein and fucking Osama bin Laden. Oh my lord, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it there because the fucking sometimes. I know you're watching on the internet, but there are some people on the internet, which is, I want to say, about 92% of the world's population, and they are fucking idiots. And I said there before, you have people out there who are thicker than cinder blocks and all that sort of thing. But these people, just honestly, remove your seed from the gene pool.
That was needlessly graphic. Don't breed. We're adoring.
If you're watching the live stream, thank you very much for joining us on our first stream back on 2019. Hopefully there will be a TWAB next week, and we'll actually talk about Destiny. If not, then we'll just talk about it and all that sort of thing. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much for your continued views and all that sort of thing. It's very, very cool. Please feel free to share it with your friends as well. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell. We do upload once a week on Saturday afternoons mostly, but keep an eye on Twitter if we do not upload at a reasonable time or at the usual time. Speaking of, we also have Twitter. Destiny DDU_podcast is where you'll find all the DDU shenanigans, where Log's basically just retweeting the dumb shit that I say or the dumb shit that Matt says or the dumb shit that he says. But if you want to know more about the DDU, please go and follow that account, or you can follow us on our personal Twitters.
The other important thing to touch on, Slothy, is that we're going to start bringing back doing our grassrootsy thing, where we're going to try and get people on who, for one of, like not necessarily just starting out, but who, we feel that we can help get a roll on and, get on and shine some light on what they do. And hopefully we'll be doing that maybe one a month or one every second month. So keep an eye out for those tweets, because if that's you, then we'll be doing it a hell of a lot more often than we have.
If you're Australian and you play Destiny and you make content for Destiny, whether it's on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, YouTube, go to the DDU_podcast, tag yourself, leave a reply rather, or tag someone who you think that we could possibly help get a jump start in and help them along and get a roll on, as Log said. Please do that. You can also follow our personal Twitters at LogPowerSlave, at Mylan Games, at Realtime Sloth. And the guys, for those of you who are listening on Podbean, Spotify, and all of the other audio-only sources, thank you very much for your continued patronage. Really excited to bring you more content this year. We've got lots of really awesome guests coming up.
Yeah, dude. We got Tom from Braytech next week.
Tom from Braytech next week, which we're really fucking excited for, because that dude is fantastic.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. I'm really looking forward to having a chat. So we will see
ladies and gentlemen,
at the same time next week.
We have been the Destiny Down Under podcast. Until next week, we'll catch you later. All right.
What do you got, Manny?
The law has had a nice break. It's got all its stuff out that needed to get done. It's played other games, and now it's coming back. It's finding you. 2019 is gonna get you.
Ooh,
it's gonna get you.
It's gonna get you. All right, stand by for a raid. Bye.